What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream session from Images by Zell. I'm Zell. Denzel Barnes. It's my full name. I go by Zell, but you can call me Denzel or Zell, whichever. So as the title says, we are doing a more organized. The last streams I've done have been a little bit more just kind of just sitting and chilling, and most of them will be going forward, but I actually wanted to actually do a actual topic for this one, and it's going to be three ways to add not camera motion, but 3 ways to add motion to your text. But I'm also going to throw in some bonus ones after the fact too, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions during the stream, please feel free to ask. I'm going to do one check to make sure that I am getting audio coming through. Let's make sure that I am being heard. Yep, I can hear myself, so we're good. All right, cool. So let's get into this. So without any further ado, let's hop right into Davinci Resolve, shall we? Cue this up. All right, here we go. All right, so I already have a timeline pulled up here, and what we're going to be doing is kind of just going through. I have essentially things laid out already here. Not things laid out. I have my markers laid out to remind me of what we're touching on. So I'll just take you through it. I made a video on TikTok. I think I posted it on YouTube as well. But basically, the 3 ways to add a camera motion. And I just wanted to do like a full version on it because I felt like it was a good video, and a good way to add some extra pop to your videos, some extra things. You may want your text to have more flash to them than it just being text pop up on the screen. So I'm just going to go through a couple of ways that I have discovered, to add motion to text without having to do any type of VFX work. You don't have to go to the Fusion page at all. With the techniques I'm going to show you, you can do all of this right on the edit page, which I know can be a big deal because a lot of people, not everyone who edits in Davinci Resolve also uses Fusion. So you don't need a Fusion. It's these methods are super easy. So the first one we're going to do is called I call it the right on effect. But what you're going to need to do is go over to your effects panel, and under titles, you click on titles. You want to grab the custom title text plus. Custom title, so it's called. You want to grab text plus, and you got to use. You can't use the basic one that just has text on it. You have to use the text plus for this to work. So with text plus, I'm just going to type in something so we see it. Right on effect, and reposition this a little bit. How do you, oh, here we go, layout. Yeah, oop, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So what we're going to do, make it a little bit bigger, just so it's bold in our faces. All right, so now once you're once you are on inspector, under type, make sure you're under title, scroll down to the bottom, and you will see right on, and this is under the text tab here, or little, what do you call these scroll down windows? Under text there, you're going to scroll down till you see right on. And what you're going to notice is that you have this bar. This, if you look on the screen, you can see the effect is happening. So this is what the effect looks like. And it's just like, text looking like it's being written on, essentially. But all it's doing is like wiping it on and off. So you have to animate that, though. You have to tell Davinci Resolve how long you want it to take to do this motion, and like when you want it to start and all that. So you do that with keyframing, and the diamond here, the grayed out diamond here is what does that. So let's say we want the effect to start 5 frames into the clip. So you start at the beginning of the text plus, let me scroll this down. All right, so this video track has text plus on it. So you just want to basically go 5. Let's just go 5 frames in. So we can go 1. Oops, sorry, we glitched a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is where we want the effect to stop at, basically. So what I'm going to do is keyframe that on. I'm going to go back to the beginning, and then I'm going to take it like this. So now when I hit play, you will see it come on, and it'll take 5 frames to get to that end point, to where we set the stop point at, essentially. And there it is. That was really fast. If you want it to go differently, if you want it to take longer than that, you can set it however you want. And maybe you don't want it to start right away either. I'll show you how that works. You just gotta make sure you set this here, and this is gonna be our beginning point. So wherever you hit, whenever it turns red, I guess you can look at it as like a record in a sense. Then I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames in. And we're going to go on, and let's get a little fancy. Let's say we want it to go back off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames, and then go back off. And now we're done. So you see the effect isn't happening. The text isn't popping up because I told it not to start until 10 frames in, essentially. Well, I don't even know if it was 10 frames in. I made this this is the starting point here. Right there. So it knows, okay, even though the text layer is here, it's not going to start until until it gets to the point where we told it to start. And that's within the clips. I can move this wherever, and it's going to do the same thing. It has nothing to do with where it is in the timeline. Where it is in the sequence. It's all about the clip itself. So nothing, boom, there it is, and it went right back out. So fast, but so you can see it go on and then off like that. So let's say that's like, oh, that's way too fast. That's cool. We're gonna let it play for a bit, and I'm gonna set it and say over that whole little part, I want this to be where it stops at. Now make sure you go back to where you want the effect to begin, and slide it this way to turn it off. And now I'm gonna hit play, and you see the ride on effect happening. My computer kind of stuttered a little bit, but there you go. That's how that works. And like I said, you can leave it on for as long as you want. And if you wanted to go back out that way, you would just say, all right, this is starting with it on. I'm gonna let it play for a bit, and then let's go ahead and turn it off. All right, now let's watch all this together. Now you see it going back off because of how we animated it. And just like that, you're done. But that's how the ride on effect works. So you can mix and match that, do whatever you want with it, make it go faster, slower. You saw it go faster when I first did it. So you can see how you can increase the speed on how long you make that distance. So if you have like 2 frames, it's going to be faster than if you have like 20 frames in between the starting and ending point. And I went all the way off and on. You don't even have to do that. You could stop it in the middle somewhere. If you're like, oh, I wanted to come on a little bit. Oops, I didn't even do that. I wanted to come on a little bit, but then I wanted to go back off. And actually, I just realized something. If you grab the middle of it, I'm just now realizing this. If you grab the middle, so let's say you only have that much on, you can kind of slide where that happens at, which is pretty cool too. So, it goes out. So you can kind of make the effect happen from the middle out. I just realized that. I've never tried that before. So let's play with that a little bit, actually. That's kind of cool. So this is going to be our middle point. And I'm going to do this. And we want, let's see, right? Hold on, let me go back so I can kind of see. So we'll make on like the first word we see essentially. So go to that O is out and then pull this back. All right, N is out. So now we're going to start here and have it go a couple frames in, pull it out, pull it out. Now let's see how that looks. So yeah, you can have it go from inside out, and I'm assuming, yeah, and then now we just did that, so literally we could also go from the outside in. So I can go here, go to the O's out, and then pull it back that way. So let's play that. But yeah, this is cool because you basically can mix and match this any kind of way you want. You start kind of go in and out. So you can just kind of imagine the different things you can do with that. You have your effect come on from the middle and then go out, or you can start it at the left side like I did and go right all the way on and then come all the way back off, or any type of combination. So really, I encourage you to hop in there and start playing with that and see what type of different combinations you can do. Let's see. I'm gonna check some comments real quick here. Oh, Nichols Media. Hey, brother. Hey, man. How you doing? I appreciate you hopping in here. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Definitely also let me know where you guys are watching from. That's always cool. See, JB had a message. I can't see his message. Retract it. But yeah, if you guys, like I said, have questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the comments for sure. So yeah, that was effect 1. So we're going to go ahead and keep it moving here and move on to the next effect. And I'm just going to check it looks like I'm dropping some frames. Yeah. I would be dropping some frames. I need to, my wife is on. She said she's watching from her our living room. My wife is a YouTuber, and I've helped her. I think some of you guys have probably seen me do some videos with her. But make sure you check her out, her channel. She has a whole bunch of cozy content, good stuff. I'm going to take a small pause because I just realized I need to do something with my internet because I'm dropping a lot of frames right now. So hopefully this first bit wasn't too bad. But give me one moment, and I'll be right back. All right. So I should be good now. I realized I didn't have my internet set up right. So I want to make sure that I'm good because otherwise the stream will be super laggy. Let's see here. If we lose connection, it's because it's switching over from being on Wi-Fi to hardline. So I might need to give it a second, but bear with me. I'm gonna switch to the title screen real quick. All right. Sorry for the hold up. We are back in business here. We should be good. I'm gonna make sure my bit rate is doing well. Okay. 0 drop frames. Check comments. Watching. Okay. Watching from NC. Okay. North Carolina. Nice. Cool. All right. Well, we did the first one. So a little quick. Guess I'll do a quick rundown again since I went away. But yeah, so we have the write-on effect. You got to use Text Plus. You'll find that in your titles. If you go over to your effects, go to titles, grab Text Plus, and when you have Text Plus down, when you have the text clip down, you come over to title. You go all the way down till you see the write-on effect. And you can, if you double click also on the word write on in here, it will reset your keyframe. And like I said, we want to start it where it's off. Hit the diamond to turn it red. Play over basically play for the duration of how long you want the effect to last. Then drag it to end it. And there it is. The write-on effect. And like we just went over before, you can start that at any point. You can make it grow from the middle. You don't have to stick to it being from left to right. You can start it however. You can go left to right, right to left, middle out, however you want to do it. So you have options. All right, so the next effect that we're going to do is called, let me just double check one thing. All right, cool, excellent connection. All right, we are good to go. I just want to make sure everything is good before I keep going. It's the floating, I call it the floating effect, the floating text effect. But basically, I'm just grabbing a basic title here, and I'm just going to name this floating. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And basically, all we're doing is, this is not technically a text effect that I'm adding. It's really a camera effect. And so let me show you how you have to make this work. So the way I'm making the camera flow is actually by going to open effects FX panel, go to Open Effects, and go ahead and search for camera shake. And that's a Resolve film emulation effect. And be sure that you're using this one that's in Open Effects, because there's also one in video transition that's called camera shake, but they do two completely different things. And that's called a fusion transition under video transitions. You don't want that one. You want to make sure that you go to Open Effects and it says Resolve FX film emulation. That's the one you want in Open Effects. Grab that camera shake and drag it onto your clip. But as you can see, as I'm dragging and dropping, nothing is happening. It's not lighting up because you cannot put the camera shake effect on a text layer. You can put one on a video layer, and if you look here and see, I dropped it on the video, and this is what it's actually for. You can now see there's basically camera movement happening, and it's kind of a way to create, artificial handheld movement or camera shake, however you want to do it. That was originally a completely still image. You add it to your image, and now you get camera shake, and you can kind of come over here and do a bunch of things and yada, yada, yada. This is not a video tutorial. This is not a camera shake on video tutorial. This is how you want to use it on text. So let's get rid of that. What you want to do is essentially turn this text into a video. So let me just slide this down, make it a little bit bigger. I'm just doing it this way because it's fast. I was right there. Now what you want to do is right click on the text layer, and you want to hit new compound clip. And I'm just going to say floating effect. What happened to the F? Oh my goodness. Go back. Floating effect. Create. Now that is in a compound clip. Essentially, it's now a video. Now when I grab camera shake and drag and drop it, it works. It now is on the text layer because we turned the text into a compound clip, basically making it a video. So now you will see that the camera shake effect is on the text, only the text, and not on the video, which is what you want because you want it to become separated and isolated, so you can so that way you can control just the text. And that's why compound clips are good, because you can affect individual things and not the entire image or everything underneath of it. And that's a compound clip, not an adjustment layer, because an adjustment layer would cause it to affect everything underneath of it. Or adjustment clip. I can't remember which one is which in Premiere and in Davinci Resolve, but they're essentially the same thing. But anyways, we now have the compound clip, and what I'm going to do is come over to my inspector, and under Open Effects, you see all the different settings and things you can add to or basically manipulate within it. And it's pretty technical. You can go through a lot of stuff, but we're going to keep it super simple. Like I said, this is easy. This is not complicated. So all I'm going to do is grab motion scale and speed scale, and I'm just going to slide them down and basically slowing down what's happening and making the movement not as erratic as it was. So now you see it's doing more of this floating look. So where it's not like shaking so much as it is more just kind of floating there and moving. And like you can adjust it more. I can go slower on that if you want to be very, subtle. And just kind of add a cool little, oh, that's kind of cool, nice little pop to your text. Having that floating look on text is actually pretty cool, in all honesty, when you're like highlighting things and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Nichols, yeah, I did. I switched. So, okay. So let me explain this. I switched from Premiere in 2020, I think it was, or 2021. So I've been editing in Davinci Resolve. I was editing in Davinci Resolve exclusively since like 2021. I think it was 2020 now I think about it. Yeah, I think pretty much in 2020 exclusively. I recently started a job as a full-time documentary editor for a production company, and they use Adobe Premiere. So just this year in like March, I had to switch back to editing in Premiere after a 4 year hiatus essentially. And I was like, oh my gosh, because but the thing is, I still edit in Davinci Resolve. So all my personal projects, for the most part, all my personal projects, all my freelance work, all my client work that I do personally under Images by Zell, IBZ Films, that's all I use Davinci Resolve because that's what I prefer. But for my day job as a documentary feature film editor, the company I work for uses Adobe Premiere, so I had to switch back. Can't be the industry standard. Well, the thing is, yes, you are right, and I was trying to fight hard for that, the industry standard thing. The thing is, though, I don't think it's as standard as it once was, where nobody, because I do know of people who in the industry are requesting people to work in Davinci Resolve. It just depends on who you're working for. And if you're freelance, you can do whatever you want, because as long as you're not working with other editors, you're fine. And in all honesty, because I've been editing in both, the programs can communicate if you know how to make XML files properly. And the thing that I do is I will, even though for the company I'm working for, I edit in Premiere, I color grade in Davinci Resolve. So I'm editing the film in Premiere, but then I'm to make it into an XML, bringing it into Davinci Resolve and doing all my color grading and things like that. So it's, it's not the worst thing in the world. Of course, I feel like the Adobe Premiere, the way it is right now, they do have a large part of the market share. But if you look on like the higher tier level in the industry, like in Hollywood and that level, people aren't even using Premiere really as the industry standard. It's what is that other program called? I'm completely blanking on it now. Avid Media Composer. So you're probably gonna have to, as an editor, at some point learn multiple programs anyway. So it never hurts to be well versed in more than one. So I plan on eventually learning Avid Media Composer, because at some point someone's gonna probably need you to edit in something different. But I think it's good to have your home base program that you do most of your stuff in, because if you don't need to edit and if you don't need to pay for the Adobe Premiere subscription, then don't pay for it. Like I don't. My job pays for it. So that's my head. If y'all want me to edit it, fine. I'll do that, but I'm not paying for it. You guys can pay for that. So for all my stuff, it's still Davinci Resolve, and editing in both, I don't see the problem. I just think it's more of a thing that people are used to Premiere. And Premiere has a lot of good stuff and how they have the cloud-based things, and my job has a lot of people who use other Adobe software. So I get it. I'm not like, fighting that, but I don't think that Premiere is better than Resolve, honestly. I just think that people have their preferences, and if a company has something that they've been in for so many years, it's probably hard to make people move. So for now, yeah, but I don't think that that's going to be the way. That's going to be the same for the next 5-10 years from now. I just don't think that people are going to be, because at some point people are going to get tired of that subscription payment, even companies. And if Davinci Resolve continues to improve like it's been improving and changing the game like they've been changing the game, I don't understand why people would say, no, you can't use Resolve ever. So let's see. Quiverful Productions, what's up, brother? I think Dissolve is better than Premiere when you're the one using it. Well, hey, I think that everybody has their toolkit. Everybody has the things that they're good at and using. So I'm not mad at Premiere. After working for my company now, I'm not mad at Premiere. It's fine. I guess I was mentioning something to it, and my director who I work under, he was like, I didn't realize you hated Premiere so much. I was like, I honestly don't hate the program. I'm just not a fan of the way that Adobe does their business model. But yeah, let's see. Thanks for the perspective. Really appreciate it. I'm freelance right now, so I stick to Vinci most. 100%. When I was freelance, that I would say do that because there's no need. There's no need unless, if you don't have to do it, especially if you're like starting out. I think it's a good thing for people who are starting out, even for people who are experienced. If you don't want to have to spend that monthly subscription and you don't need to, why do it? You know what I mean? It's like, especially if you're not using all the other programs that Adobe has. Again, I'm not here to knock Adobe. I'm not. I'm not here to knock Adobe. But I'm just saying, Adobe works for large teams of people who all have to use the same program. And you have people like from different, like Quiverful Productions. We work for the same company. We have multiple editors. I can't change the entire system of the company because I'm like, oh, I want to, I have to communicate and work with other people. So I have to play nice. But I still get to, like I said, I get the color grade in DaVinci, which is cool. But yeah, freelancers, please just use Adobe Premiere. Just use DaVinci Resolve. That's my suggestion, unless you want to spend the money on that. I always use that money I'm saving on a monthly subscription, get a website, put aside money for SD cards, for your camera equipment, whatever it is you might need. Let's see, Michaela, because again, my wife uses DaVinci Resolve too. She said, especially as a starting editor. Yeah, she's not a professional. She's not a pro editor. Like, she doesn't do this for like a living, but she edits for her content and stuff like that. And she's saying same thing. She likes that. Let's see. I used to use Final Cut Studio, and then after Steve Jobs passed, everybody started going to subscription from Mouse. Dang, yeah. I remember Final Cut Studio. That's what I started on too, honestly. I think it was Final Cut Pro 6. Was it 6? I think it was 6. Yeah. And Final Cut was the standard for a while, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Final Cut for a while was the standard. And then, but Avid, to me, when people say that Adobe is the standard, I'm like, yeah, maybe in the commercial realm, like lower tier, like, but on the biggest scale, I always hear everyone talking about Avid Media Composer in Hollywood, and then for color grading, it's DaVinci Resolve. I never hear anybody say on the Hollywood level. Sometimes, yes, but not all the time. I don't usually hear people say, "Oh yeah, you need to be able to edit in Adobe Premiere," And then at the end of the day, they're all NLEs, nonlinear editing programs. So they have their quirks and their differences. There's things that Premiere does that I like that DaVinci doesn't do. I'm like, oh, that's actually a cool little feature. So they all have their benefits. It's just overall, I just think especially a solo freelancer, one-man band, why would you not use DaVinci Resolve? Because you have literally everything. You have multiple programs that it takes for Adobe. You have your audio, you have your color, you have your VFX. You have all of that built in your editing. You have all that built into one program. So to me, you might as well just use DaVinci Resolve, and it's free if you don't want to get to studio version. And the studio version is only it's not even $300. I think it's like $300 at most. So yeah, that was a long side tangent. You got me started. You got me started with the whole question about that, so I can go on a tangent about that for a while. But yes, I very much. If you told me to pick one, I'm picking DaVinci Resolve all day, every day. It's just where I'm at. And that's coming from someone who edits in both. Every day I edit in Adobe Premiere, and then when I'm done with that, with that project, I'm editing in DaVinci Resolve for my personal stuff and for client stuff. So, all right, let's see. Floating. So we just did that. So yeah, that's how you would go about doing that. Like I said, you can go in and tweak it, so you can kind of see how that would flow. All right, the next effect we're going to cover is dynamic zoom. So dynamic zoom is probably my favorite, literally my favorite probably thing to do in DaVinci Resolve. And this is also an effect that normally you would probably use on like just a video to do like a slow zoom in. So let me show you how it works. It's already built into your clip and within Inspector. So all you do is click on the clip and go over to your Inspector and on the video tab and go down to dynamic zoom. And when you click it on, let me take this off. You can see it makes your, well, I'm not starting at the beginning. It's going to be hard to tell from there. Yeah, that clip is it's not going to be a good example of it. Let me show you here. I need to show you on a shorter clip because it moves. It's the clip is so long. You're not really going to see the motion. Just show you on a smaller clip. And my computer, give me a moment. My computer is deciding to choke on me, but that's all right. Okay, here we go. The other thing about Davinci Resolve, just side note, it does not crash nearly as much as Adobe Premiere. And that's just truth. Literally, it does not crash as much as Adobe Premiere. And the only reason why I really ever experience crashes with Davinci Resolve is because of my home system is not that fast. So that's the only reason. Adobe Premiere, we have like the fastest computers at work and it still crashes. I'm just saying. So I don't know what's going to take for them to fix that, but they need to fix that. All right, so you see how this clip is zooming out, and then if I come over to dynamic zoom, open the panel, expand it, and hit swap, now it's going to zoom in. So you can also control the speed on that, which is really cool. So I love this. This is the green is your starting point and the red is your end point. So if you wanted to go slower, you can move your end point closer to your start point. And you see it pushing super slow, super nice, super subtle. And I just love dynamic zoom. But all that being said, you can do it on text too, which is cool. So let me just grab another. That was floating effect. Come back over here, dynamic zoom. I'm gonna grab another title. Basics fine. I don't have to do this, but it just helps me keep it organized. Dynamic zoom. Oop. Don't know what I was trying to spell there. Dynamic zoom. Okay. So we got that set up. Scroll you down. Just make it bigger so we can see it. Whoa. Really want to see what's happening here. So let's say you got your text on and you want it to grow. Actually, I'm gonna go smaller so you can see this. Let's say it's small, but you want it to like grow bigger over time. And let's say you want it to be on for, this amount of time is fine. This will be the duration of the duration of the dynamic zoom lasts for however long your clip is. That's how that works. So now all we need to do is go. So the thing that's slightly different because it's text, you'll see the first thing that probably will be on for you is title. Under video, you'll see title. Make sure you go to settings. So now this is like the video settings. So you can make it, you can do a bunch of stuff here. Transforms, adjust scale and all things like that. Cropping's already built in. Your composite modes, all that. So you'll see dynamic zoom will be grayed out. Click it on. And now it's starting big. By default, it always starts out to come in. No, in out. It's different because it's text. I'm confusing myself. If you don't want it to go in that, we wanted to go small, big. So we're going to swap it. And now it's getting bigger and growing over time. So that's the dynamic zoom effect. It's pretty cool. You can like adjust it and things like that. So I'm trying to think of what the situation would be that you're trying to use it in. But I mean, you can play around with it and adjust it and things like that. The speed of it, like I said, if you want it to go faster, if you increase the distance between the two, it'll do its move faster, like that. And then if you want it to go slower, I haven't explained what I'm doing. I'm coming over to the main viewer here, and underneath you'll see like right here in the bottom left, there's this little drop down menu, and you can look at different, effects or different tools you would use. That you kind of like that basically is like connected to stuff that's happening in your inspector, but you want to just come over to dynamic zoom so that way you see this animation tool appear on your screen. And this is the box. So this green box and this red box is essentially representing your start and end point, like I said, and the space in between is essentially the camera move. And however fast or slow you want that move to go over the duration of that clip depends on the distance between the green square and the red square. If you hit swap, they switch places. So green is the start, red is the end. So that should kind of help you know, like, all right, I'm starting where this is, and it's going to end where this is, where the red is, and vice versa. So you'll see like it starts big, it starts out and then zooms in, and then if you swap it, same speed and everything, it's just changing the direction by which it's the direction it starts in. So that's cool. A cool little effect you can add on there. All right, let me check comments before we keep going. Let's see what we got. I used to Avid Media Composer. It's amazing. It's just a lot of control they give you in Composer. But Davinci came out of nowhere. We're like another option. I know, right? For sure. I've never messed with Avid. Avid looks cool though. I mean, like when I see it, I look at like the pros, and they're showing like their timelines in Avid. I'm like, whoa, that thing looks crazy. But I can't help myself. I like a challenge. So eventually I will probably get to learning that as well. And so if you see some Avid Media Composer videos on the channel, just know I'm learning. Let's see. I have another one here. Another comment that says, is it possible to copy dynamic zoom attributes in another clip, or do I have to use adjustment clips? That is a good question. Now, I think you're saying copy attribute. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So typically the way I've moved it over is by adjustment layer. So I'm not sure if that's what, hold on. Let me make sure I read your comment again. Let's see what you said here. Make sure I'm understanding. Adjustment clips. Yeah, I've done it with, how the second way you said with adjustment clips. So let me go to my favorites. So yeah, I've done it with adjustment clips. Essentially what that question was asking is like, can you just copy what you did here? And I think that the answer is no, because I've never tried to do it this way, because I've always just by default done with adjustment clips. But let me go to paste attributes. Oh, I should have checked that first. Well, see, yeah, that's the thing. It's not gonna, I don't think it will let me do that. Yeah, I don't think it will, because, well, it could. Let me turn it off. Let's try this. Let me go over here and copy. That was a really good question, by the way. I've never tried to do this. But I understand why you would want to. Video attributes, plugins. Retime process, maybe. Plugins. Let's try it. So I'm going to hit paste attributes, and we're going to see what happens. Well, you see, that's the problem though, because I need to grab one. I copied that. I need to grab a completely brand new so we can really make sure this is working. So I'm gonna grab this one, and I'm gonna try to paste attributes to here. Yes, apply everything. I don't think it is. It's kind of. Let me see. Is it going? Yeah. I was reversed, so it doesn't look like it works. That it does not look like it will copy dynamic zoom attributes the way you're asking, because I don't know. I'm not going to try to explain the reason why, but in my mind at least, because dynamic zoom is already built in, I think that is already pre-programmed with its effect, if that makes sense. So it doesn't seem like, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like it copied it over perfectly. So that's why I would just set it up with an adjustment clip, and then it's doing the same thing, and then kind of just move that adjustment clip around. So like if you have if you have that there and move it here and here, you'll see that it's going to be the same it's going to be the same dynamic zoom move happening. This is how I've always done it. So, you know, you could do that with the text too. The only problem, and I think I get why you're wanting to do it, because the only problem is with text. That being said, let me turn off dynamic zoom. You'll see if I grab the adjustment clip, that seems all well and good, but it's going to affect everything beneath it too. So everything gets dynamic zoom added to it. So, I mean, I guess if you did the adjustment clip and then if you did it, yeah, I guess you could do it this way. Nah, it's not going to. You could do it that way, but then it compound. So yeah, it starts getting overly complicated to how you would have to do it. Yeah, I feel like I get why you would want to do that. Although I have an idea. Let me make sure. I'll check your comment. So I have an idea to basically as a workaround based on what you just asked, Noreen. I'm thinking that's how you say your name. I don't want to say it wrong, so I apologize if I said your name wrong. But I think to be it, because essentially, let's say you have a bunch of different texts laid out and you want that move to happen over multiple texts, you would essentially have to redo the move every time. And I get like, I wanted to just do this move. I don't want to have to reprogram it. What I would do, which is funny, I guess I've never run into a situation. I've never had to do this before. What I would do is, yeah, okay, I got it. Nothing's happening here. Even though you don't need to do a compound clip because you technically can with text by itself, I would have all your text, I guess, done already. See, nah, I still don't think this is going to work. I still don't think it would work that way. Because what I was going to say was do a compound clip and then do your dynamic zoom effect. But I still don't think that's going to do what you wanted to do because, let's see. Because, yeah, I don't know. Well, let me see. And let's just say we did another one. Turn dynamic zoom off. New compound clip. We're testing out some new stuff here. That's all good. Make me think a little bit and see if there is a way to do that. I just don't think that. See, this wouldn't affect that. Let's put it on. Yeah, nah, it's not doing it. Essentially, what I was thinking was if you make a compound clip, but you got to do it over again. So yeah, I don't see a way to do that. I'll think about that some more. And if you come up with an option later and want to, refer back to this video, feel free to leave a comment. But yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I just like to have a clean timeline. So I was wondering if I can skip the part with adjustment clips and only use it on clip level. Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. But it seems like it is odd that they would make it to where you can't copy the dynamic zoom move. But it could be that it has a hard time because of the way it works. It's not like keyframing. So maybe the program would have a hard time applying that to another clip because it wouldn't have the frame of reference, if that makes sense. I'm not an engineer, so I don't. I'm not going to try to act like I know how programming works and things like that. But that would be my thought, because I know if you do the move with keyframes, you would essentially you should be able to copy those over to another thing. But that's a good. I'm gonna kind of think on that a little bit, see if I can figure something out. But yeah, thank you for the question. But as of right now, I don't see a way unless I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's easy with a video because you can just drop the adjustment layer, but with a text, you want it to be separated. So that's where you needed to probably start doing Fusion. So for those of us who may be trying to avoid Fusion at some point, we probably need to get to Fusion, because I know for a fact with Fusion, you could do that. There's another workaround, and I don't really want to go through all of this, but thinking about what I was thinking about doing was the text like this, doing a compound clip. And you see that it becomes a video, so it's like black on top. Oh, well, actually, maybe I could do it this way. I may have thought of something that could work. If we go to a composite, and then we go to, okay, add. Well, would you look at that? I think we may have figured out a workaround. But it still doesn't fix I know you said you wanted a clean timeline, so this might not really help. But if you wanted to at least not have to do that over and over again, like if you timed to move out the way you wanted it, I guess. I don't even know if this is helpful, to be honest with you, because all I really did was take a text, grab the adjustment clip, throw it on top, and that's giving us our camera movement, making a compound clip out of that. And now, I mean, it works. You can then go to composite blend mode, add, and now it's sitting on top. But I don't really know if that helps you or it makes it better. So you can decide if that is useful or not. That is the workaround I just figured out. I don't really know if it's a workaround or if it really even helps you. But yeah. Yeah, next question. How do you compound clip with alpha channel, so without the black? Okay, cool. So we kind of just answered your question unintentionally because you asked about that alpha channel. I kind of just did that with the composite mode blending. By hitting the add, it now comes through underneath. So you could go to the color page and do it. And that's probably something I would do for another stream. To show you how to go in the alpha channel and pull those things out, which is also another option. But if you want to do it quickly and simply, you can do what I literally just did. And when you have the compound clip, we'll reset it. What they're asking, when you have a compound clip like that with the text, it's going to make your video black. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip. While my wheel spin. Okay, here we go. It makes it black. You can come, if you want to do it quickly to not have to deal with keying things out and all that stuff, you can just go to add. And you can play with the different blend modes and things to see what else. I mean, other options will do it. I mean, you have different, darker color, so you see your video underneath of your text, which is a cool look in itself. And make it bigger, and you can kind of, you know, I'm getting distracted. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Darken, I mean, color dodge is another way to do that. And it'll have different effects based on different, you know, parameters. So we'll just say if you use add, that is a quick and easy way to do it without having to go to any other page and just stay on the edit page. Okay, so that is that camera motion. Let me check the comments before we move to the next one. Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that's helpful. That we inadvertently found a workaround. Live time, real time. This is why it's good to play with the software. I've never done that, but just knowing how the program works, I was like, okay, let's try to work through this and figure it out. We figured something out. Look at that. Your question sparked something that can benefit other people, and yeah. Awesome. Look at that. That wasn't even an intended tip for this video. All right. The next motion that we're going to talk about, text motion, is motion. Wait, no, am I right? Yeah, dynamic. So I said we have 3. So we went through all 3, but I had a bonus one that I thought about that would be pretty cool because it's one that I used to love doing all the time. This is actually back when I used to edit in Premiere all the time. I used to use the transform tool to do this. And I remember one day thinking, I wonder if I can do that in Resolve. And for the longest time, I did not know how to do it in Resolve, but I finally figured it out. And I've never actually used it for text, but I'm gonna show it to you guys. I've used it for videos and things like that. But basically, what you want to do, and I'm just going to move that down. I'm just gonna call this one. I don't really have a perfect name for this one. I'm gonna just call it swipe zoom/zoom blur because it's both. It could be a zoom, it could be a swipe. It depends on how you want to use it. I'm going to use it as a swipe. So let's just get to it before I get way too confusing. What you want to do is go over to your effects panel, type in transform. Actually, I'm messing up. I need to go to it's actually in open effects. Yeah. So you want to go to open effects, type in transform, and you'll see you want the one that just says transform under Resolve FX transform. We're going to grab that. We're going to drop it on our text. And let me just check something real quick. Floating effect. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, so we got the transform tool on. So now what we need to do is go over to inspector, and we want to go over to effects. And you have a lot of different options. You can change the way the interface works, but we're just going to go ahead and stay with sliders. Oh, reset canvas. Go to sliders. There we go. I said, oh man, I messed it up. So what we want to do is, instead of doing any type of, we could do this with keyframing, but we're not going to do keyframing today. We totally could keyframe animate this. And that would be a valid way of doing motion. But to achieve the motion blur effect, you would then have to add some fast blur, and then you have to keyframe that. We don't want to do any keyframings. This video is about easy, quick ways to do this. And this is one of the reasons why I really like how Resolve handles this, because there's no keyframing involved. Really. Maybe a little bit, but not like crazy amounts of it. There's a little keyframing, but not much. So you want to go into your position controls, and you want to grab the one that's on the X. You have your X and Y axis. So for whatever you're trying to do, like I said, we're going to do a swipe up effect essentially. So what I'm going to do is grab my Y axis slider here and slide it down so I don't see it. So we want to slide it up, just slide it just off screen. So to animate the effect, we're going to turn on the diamond here till it click it so it can turn red. And I want this to go quickly. Well, we'll just let this last for. I usually like things to go really fast. And I usually do like 5 frames. I'm going to do 10 just so you can see it clearly. So we're just going to count 10 frames in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then what I'm going to do is double click on the word position Y, and it's going to reset it to a starting point, which is where I want it to end at. And it also, you see that the red diamond popped up, so it keyframed it as well. I mean, I don't know why I'm air quoting. It is keyframing, but I'm not considering it because it's not like we're like, it is keyframing. It's just not within like the scaling and stuff. So it's just a different way of, it's kind of keyframing, I guess, but not in the traditional sense, is what I'm trying to get at. All right, so first thing I'm gonna show you is the effect. Bam, we're done. We did it. Not quite. So that in itself is essentially what I wanted. So that's the effect, like it comes up, but we want to add some extra oomph to it. We're video editors. We want that, that extra. We're gonna go that extra mile. And this is why this is so cool, because all you got to do is say animation, and I'm gonna crank motion blur up to the max. And now what we're gonna do is, you can keyframe this, but I've never really needed to, and I'll show you why. And it just pops right up. Now this feels a lot better to me when I have it faster. So what I'm going to do is reset all that. Reset. We're going to go back down because I want it to go super fast. Start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames in. Boom. So now, you see that? Bam. It comes up, but it has like a blur on it. and I'll kind of show you step by step. Yeah, you kind of can see it. Now, you can go in and really affect the way the motion blur is going, but it goes so fast that in most times you're like, for me, I was like, I don't need to do that. But you can make it like start off, and then so you can have it ramp up, I guess, essentially, and really dial it in. But to me, I was like, I don't need to do that. It's so fast, it works. It gets the feel. But you can go in and really dial it in. That looks really cool when you do it on video, for like your little like punch-ins and stuff like that, especially with music videos. That's like the bulk of my career, music video editing and things like that. So looks super cool for that kind of stuff. But it also works for something like this. And I said zoom because you can also do the same thing. Let me reset this. Same thing for zoom. So let's say, yeah, let's just zoom to be off screen. No, let's go back. We want to, yeah, okay, so I need to start it here. So we're going to start there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom, it comes in. So yeah, it zooms out from off screen and comes in. And if I had this positioned differently, I mean, you can make that be positioned differently so it comes from somewhere else as well, and that from the bottom up. But, you know, it was fine for what I'm showing you here. But yeah, so play with that. That's fun to me. So that's the bonus. And on top of that, I have one more variation of it. It's not really a tip, more of some ideas. Ways you can kind of play with these things. But before I do that, let me check the comments. All right. Awesome. I'm glad this was 100% a game changer for you. My pleasure. I'm glad you were here to be on the stream and you found value out of it. That's my goal, is to help people find value, add more tricks to the tool kit. I know I'm on YouTube all the time looking for ways to find new tricks and things. So I want to be able to share and give stuff to other people as well. I've gotten a lot of stuff from people, so I want to be able to do the same. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna wrap it up, is how you can kind of like layer effects. So you can kind of think this. I feel like is there's no one like this is how you have to do it. And let me just go ahead and full screen for this one. Just really lock in here. All right, so there's no like one way you have to do things. All the effects and things are here for us as editors and filmmakers and content creators, or whatever it is the case may be, to use to help us achieve the vision that we have creatively. So don't be afraid to use things in untraditional ways either. You don't have to, because something said like that, the first effect I showed was the right on effect. Because it says right on effect, you don't have to be like, oh, I can only use it in this way. If you find another way to use it, do it that way. If you want to throw a compound clip on top of something and then go over to the composite modes and change the composite blending mode, do it. Just play with things in different ways. Just because something says it's a video transition doesn't mean you can't put it on top of a text effect. I've showed you one effect, the camera shake effect, that's built really for video. Davinci Resolve didn't even make it to where it would work on a text layer by itself. You have to turn into a compound clip first, then it will work that way. So that's just, thinking outside of the box. I'm not saying that Davinci Resolve messed up because they didn't make it work that way. I'm just saying they put all the tools here. Now you can be creative and play with it. So that's just that little thing. Play with all the effects and mix and match them. You can't mix and match everything because some things just don't work together, but the ones you can, play with them and don't let yourself be stifled because of the title of an effect. That's just a suggestion. That's just, they have to label it because otherwise you'd have a bunch of blank boxes with no names. You wouldn't know what nothing was. And knock my mic over. This is so good. This is important stuff you guys need to know. I'm just joking. But I just messed my whole setup here. Even bear with me 1 second as I get that right. Even though it may be called something, doesn't mean that you can't use it in a different way. So yeah, be free to experiment within your editing program. So yeah, and then just to kind of show you a couple of tricks, I need to get this back down. This is all of it. This is all messed up. But just to show you a few of the things I was just kind of playing with. Let me transition back. And let me get this mic right again. So sorry for the noise, but that is all up in my face. All right, there we go. So I made myself a list here. Let's see. We have blur zoom with. Okay, yeah. So I said blur zoom. So what do we do here? Okay, yeah, I already did that one. So basically, this one, what I did here. Let's see if we can let's deconstruct this a little bit. You can decompose in place, but I don't want to do that because I want it to stay together. So what I'm going to do is open this in a new timeline. Hold on, let's do this now so I can find it later. Right click, open a new timeline. So the compound clip is its own timeline now. All right, so what I did, this was, okay, so I have a text plus effect. And I showed you guys before how you could do the ride on effect, right? So let's go over, and I'll also put the transform on this too, right? Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start it off, boom. Let that effect do what it's gonna do and let it come back on. So you can kind of see this. So what I did, so we have two things happening. There's a effect called elastic rubber, and this is where I was saying you can use things however, because elastic rubber is technically under video transitions. So you would think, oh, I gotta put this on a video clip to transition to something else. So you would put the two clips together and put that in between the two clips, the two video clips, and it would elastic rubber into the next one. But instead of doing that, I just took it and put it on the beginning of this clip itself. So that way it gave the text this bouncing effect. So off top by itself, it doesn't even do the, let's see. You can't really mute that, can I? Yeah. So let's just do this. By itself, this is what it looks like, which already is cool. Like, oh, it has a little wiggle effect. But I then went and added the ride on effect on. So now it wiggles and does its move. Oh, that didn't go right. Okay, yeah, I gotta set it here. It does its move, but it's also the ride on effect happening. So that's already two effects layered on. So you can see as it's popping up, it's still riding and it's settling down. Now I come back out to the main clip. So all that's happening underneath. But then I can say, all right, well, that's cool. But you know what? So that's happening like that. Let me turn this down. My computer is feeling it because I am streaming and also trying to do all this other stuff. So it'll start, if it looks more, the quality's down because I had to lessen it. So yeah, we see that. That's cool. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know what I'm doing with that one. So let's figure that out. Let's go back. I don't want you to do that. Oh, okay, I see. So we want the title to stop. Real time, figuring it out. Let's just reset this because I've already confused myself. So we're going to start you off. You come in. Boom, like that. And you stay on. All right, cool. Go back out. That's the effect happening. So that's cool. It does this little thing, and we have the ride on effect stat. Now, the reason why I put it into a compound clip is because now, let's say I'm like, well, that's cool, but now I want it to do this elastic thing, ride on, and stop when it's like a floating camera effect. So now we can go back to open effects, type in camera, and make sure you go to open effects. Like I said before, don't go to video transitions because video transitions has an effect called camera shake 2, which is a completely different thing. You want to go to open effects and grab camera shake there. layer that on top. So now you get 3 different things happening on one piece of text. And it's not something that Lord. This whole Premiere DaVinci talk, now I'm talking about Premiere. It's not something that DaVinci Resolve told you that you could do. The DaVinci Resolve did not have in the manual, this is how you do this. If I just made up something and I can call it whatever I want to call it. The wiggle, jiggle, camera shake, float. And then you can have another effect to get rid of it. Maybe you want to ride out, or you want to say, I want to do something completely different. I can go to video transitions again, because those are usually have some nice ones in here. And let's say I'm like, all right, I want it to, yeah, that's a cool one, disarrange. I like that. This is one of the new ones because I haven't seen this before. So this must be one of the ones from the Davinci Resolve 19 update. So we have that wiggle right on thing happen, and then it shakes and goes out. Again, my computer is starting to spaz out here now, but you get the idea. We just did a whole thing, took all the different elements and other things I didn't show you guys, but all the different elements we talked about in this video, and created something. And you can add dynamic zoom on there too. I didn't even do that, but yeah, you can also do that. So we've stacked like 4 different effects on it, and now you can kind of see the different things you can do. Just play around with it and just have fun. That's the whole thing. Just go in there and do your thing. But yeah, so there's no one way to do this stuff. You can kind of just play with it, use all the effects together. As long as you know how to use the different tools, know when you can put something on a text clip and when you can't, then you can go ahead and turn it to a compound clip. You can stack stuff on top of that. Then you can do something else and stack more things. And then, now I can try to put this effect. So you start getting ideas and start flowing. So that's why I want to encourage you. And hopefully you can use this as a takeaway, play around, have fun, use these effects in your next video. And if you do, please let me know. I would love to know. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And this live will stay up. Once it's posted. I don't take the lives down. They stay on. I have a live playlist. You look at my description below. I should have it linked, but I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel that's called Live Sessions. So if you want to see more content like this, be sure to check that out. And if you get value out of this, please leave a like on the stream. Let me know in the comments, like Noreen did, saying that it was a great tip. Just let me know. And if you want to see even more tips and tricks and DaVinci Resolve content like this, or live streams and things that I'm doing, be sure to subscribe. And yeah, that'd be awesome. I do these streams weekly, usually on Thursdays, but the time frames may change based on what's going on. But Thursdays or Fridays are usually the days I'm going to get better about posting when I'm doing them. So be sure you subscribe so that way you can stay connected and stay plugged in with what I'm doing here. But like I say, I do these streams weekly. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you for everyone who popped into the chat. I appreciate you all for all the comments. This was a great time. So enjoy your evening, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.